Welcome to the channel. This morning we're back at it again, headed down the road to Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. And then over the next couple of days we'll be working our way north to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where we'll be attending Harvester Homecoming for the first time. So stick around. Well, here we are again, side the road. I came to a red light and it died on me. Searched around, I think I figured it out. The holly, the pin that holds, I think this is called the injector pump or accelerator pump, that pumps the fuel in when you pump the gas. It hadn't been running great. I think the pin finally wore through. This was hanging there. So I'm gonna use a little piece of a spring and make myself a new pin that'll hold it in place. So you can come around this side, you'll be able to see a little bit. So that goes here. When I realized the camera angle wasn't gonna work out, here's a photo of the part I was talking about. That little bent piece of wire is the piece of spring that I used to put it back together. But that just vibrated and eventually ate through. And then this hooks on the throttle here. All right. So that's re-engaged, and I don't know if you saw a little puff of steam came out. That's from gas. So I'm going to make myself a pin out of this piece of spring, but I need to cut that a little bit. I have to say, this one doesn't seem like much, but honestly, I was pretty nervous about it. That little part that swivels on the side of the carburetor is plastic, and 50-year-old plastic doesn't survive very long. So bending this little wire back in there, I was kind of nervous I would put too much stress on it and crack it, and then we would just be stuck. Okay, if you can see right there. So as that little pin came out, and it might have been out all morning, I don't know. It hasn't been running great since we left. I'm hoping that was the reason. Well, since we are headed to Harvester Homecoming, and I was lucky enough to break down in a car wash parking lot, I thought I'd better spray a little of the mud off of Nugget and the teardrop. That ride on the trails that land between the lakes got her a little muddy, but a couple dollars in and we can shine her up as good as ever. Like with many old vehicles, these Scouts have known trap points, places that mud and rocks and debris get trapped in. And those are the areas where it rusts them out over time. So, you know, up there in the front, behind the front tire, you can see all the mud that flew out. And then by the fuel tanks in front of the back wheels is another one. You'll see me spray it out here in a second. You really got to keep those areas clear of debris, or you'll end up with more rust than you know what to do with. Well, another night in a hotel, but it did rain last night, so we might actually try camping again tonight. We are driving from Bowling Green to Mammoth Cave, Kentucky today. And we have a tour scheduled to go down into the cave. And so that should be fun. Then we're going to drive on from there and find us a place tonight. And if it keeps staying cool like this, or at least not unbearably hot, maybe one more night of camping. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, won't be long. We'll be on the road. All right, so we made it to Mammoth Cave National Park, right? Mm-hmm. We have a tour scheduled for about 30 minutes from now that we have to go check in for. Scout's doing okay. Carburetor still sticking and screaming at every stop sign until I feather the throttle real hard. But now we're gonna go in and have a good day. Parked here beside one weird rig. I don't know what that thing is, but it's got an awful lot of angles. Where mine's got curves. I kind of think mine's sexy, but I don't know about that. Looks fun though. Cricket. As we descended down the trail to the cave entrance, there was this perfect line of a cloud sitting right over top of the hole. It's caused from the cool air of the cave coming up and meeting the hot, humid air of the day. But it was very interesting, to say the least. Capturing amazing footage of an amazing cave with an iPhone, well, it's not very doable. So here's some great black images of darkness with some shadows that make you think there might be something. Yeah, so we'll skip ahead a little bit. Trust me, it's amazing. And it's Mammoth, and if you're in the area, you definitely should go. I think you're right. But that Mexican food was good. Oh, goodness, come on. We made a quick stop at the Wigwam Village. I believe there were 2 of these in the U.S. back in the 50s. This is the one on the East Coast, and I think there was one out west. The one out west, I believe, is the one that they modeled the Orange Cone Hotel off of in the movie Cars. After that, we found us a hotel near Cave City and called it a night. We're not too far from Fort Wayne. All right, so we're leaving the hotel and headed towards Fort Wayne, I guess. Apparently we picked the 10-minute spurt when it's going to rain today, which is awesome. Scout survived the night. Nobody stole it, which is excellent. Thank you, everybody that did not steal it. Okay, so it's pouring rain. And I would like to leave, but I can't because I have not corrected my anti-theft device under the hood. I'm not going to tell you what it is in case you see my Scout somewhere, you can't take it. 2 things under the hood.
The defogger's not working.
And the defogger's not working. I'm wet.
A little bit.
But I've been wet for days, and at least this is water and not sweat. So that's a good thing. Okay, I'm going for it.
Wow, the river going down the drain.
River runs through it. I almost pull my pants up because I'm down my butt. I'll edit that out too. So now we'll hit the road.
Wet and all.
Wet and all. Hot.
Legs.
Hot legs. Toasting bread.
Stop it. Put it down. Put it away.
I'm gonna make you a star one way or the other.
If I knew you weren't putting that out there, I would say things to you that are above PG-13.
No, don't do that. My videos are designed for families. Well, it was nice to get a little camping in before we made it to Fort Wayne today. You know, traveling this far, you run across some places that are just absolutely beautiful camps. And then occasionally you find yourself camping in what feels like a homeless camp, which is where we were last night. We built the fire to keep the bugs away, and then also so I could have a hot stick to poke at people if they came around. I've gotten a little better. See? Look at there. Only spilled a little. Little better every time. Topped off with gas one more time before we head into the city. I have to say, it was pretty exciting pulling into Fort Wayne and seeing the tower of the old factory there in the distance. It's kind of nice to bring Nugget home. Nugget, you're home. Back to your birthplace. Pay no attention to the fact that I'm on the sidewalk. got the new shackles on. And it leveled up the sag quite nicely. Check this out. You ever done a shackle lift in a hotel parking lot? I don't know, it looks good to me. I'd have to measure, but I'd say it's perfect. So, I lost a bolt in the process. I think I must have kicked it, sent it across the parking lot, so a fellow that's been helping me ran down to Napa. He's gonna grab me a bolt and bring it back. And we'll get that last bolt put in and tightened up. But she is riding level and ready for Harvester Homecoming. We're here in Fort Wayne. Made it in yesterday afternoon. Crashed in bed for an evening, and yeah, out here this morning before it gets too hot, doing a little work, and it's already too hot. I did take one smack to the forehead and one hit on the ear by the jack. Oh man, that hurts. But it's in there, leveled up finally. They are some big old shackles, but it did level it up. So we will be happy with that for now. Someday I might get those arched a little higher maybe, but she's looking good. Now I know that you car people out there are yelling, but what about your pinion angle? Well, it's not in the shot here, but yeah, it's not great. It is a little bit in the wrong direction, but I'm headed to a show and I wanted to see it level out. Ultimately, the plan is to get them re-arched if we get back to Virginia. But at least it's going to look good at the show, and it won't look like my teardrop weighs 3,000 pounds. And I'll fix the fact that it looks like a shackled up GTO eventually. So yeah, I got a little knot on my head. Farm jacks. Be careful out there, y'all. Uh-oh. Little ice, making it better. Well, good morning. Still here at the hotel. I tried to get up before the sun comes up, tried to do a little work. Nice and cloudy today, so it hasn't been too bad. I'm gonna get under here and grease the steering. The steering has gotten really stiff in the last 500 miles. Not really stiff, but it's not great. And so I think I just need to grease things. That's kind of going to be the plan. I'm going to grease things. I've got some gear oil to put in the steering box. I know I've read online a lot of people mix that with a slurry of grease, or not the steering box, into the steering knuckles. I don't know if I can actually do that here in the parking lot, so I might just add a little and deal with that when I get home to my garage. You know, it'll do okay for 500 miles. That's all I've got left, I think, is about 500 miles to get to Virginia after the show this weekend. So anyway, I'm just gonna grease things up. Walked over to Walmart last night and then went by Napa yesterday and got some grease. The shackles are still looking good this morning. A little tall, but it sure did level it out, so I'll live with it for a while anyway. So yeah, let's get under here before management comes out and tells me to quit. While I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and grease up the drive shafts. Just every zerk I see, I'll pump a little into. Doesn't it happen that way? The minute you climb under there, you realize you forgot your glasses over there. Okay, so help me. If I've missed anything, put it in the comments. It'll be after this trip, but at least then I can go back and do it. So the two ends The two, so it's what I've greased. The U-joints on both ends of the two drive shafts and the drive shaft sleeve that goes back and forth, you know, where that slides over each other. So I've got those done. The two ball joints in the front by the tires up from the bottom. The Dana 18 shift lever, not that it would wear out a lot, but I did stick a little in it because I saw it. On the drag link, I found two Zerks at each end on the little ball joints that are on that. I feel like there should be one on the steering column, but I can't find it. Maybe it's under the dash. I'll get a flashlight and look up under the dash and see if I can see one, but it feels to me like there should be something there. You see where I hit my head yesterday? Bunk! Right there. Yeah, those farm jacks are a beast. I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but I'm kind of an idiot. But it's on there. What else? There's nothing on the shocks. I couldn't find anything in the springs, or, you know, nothing like that. That's all I can find so far. So I'm gonna sit here. I have a owner's manual that I bought. I'm gonna look through it and see if it says anything about it, but about where to grease. Let's try this out. Binder Books, I think is where I got these. Well, I found here in the owner's manual some great information. Found lubrication. It says, have your Scout properly lubricated at regular intervals according to the lubrication instructions and diagram shown in this manual. I wonder where it's shown. Would have been helpful if it would have said refer to page whatever. What? Lubrication diagram, check it out. Let's see if I've missed anything. Got it. Well, apparently I'm supposed to put a drop of oil on the pin inside the distributor. I don't know what that is. Apply a light coat of cam lubricant. I wonder what that is. To the shaft cam, remove the rotor and place 3 or 4 drops of oil on the felt. Well, definitely I need to do that because we just figured it out. I've driven 5,700 miles from Anchorage to here and have put about a little over 9,000 miles on it since the rebuild, since I got it to Anchorage last summer. Okay, fast forward ahead till my slow mind was able to comprehend what I was reading. One thing I've missed is the clutch fork. So I think I have to take the dust cover off to do that. And then I need to fill my manual steering box and probably my closed knuckles. All right, it says keep vent clear. I think the vent is this little pin that is in there. I think I'm supposed to fill that up. So we're going to apply some gear oil.
So that's what I'm using. We'll see. Nope, and I'm full. Nope, I'm not. Just poured too fast. I'm beginning to think that wasn't as full as I always thought it was. Keep filled to plug level. All right. Filled to plug level. I bet I put a half a quart in there. That could have been a fair amount of my issue. I'll wiggle it, see if any bubbles come out. Nope, not much. Up to the top almost. All right, so we'll put that plug back in. I have to watch that, see if I've been leaking more than I thought. So that might have been some of the stickiness I'd found in my steering linkage. I'm betting a lot to do with that box. Clearly the oil level was lower than that top set of gears. I'd never noticed it leaking. I had topped it off way back when, but it must leak more than I think it does, so it might be time for a rebuild on that eventually in Virginia. So now I have closed knuckles that I'm gonna use the same gear oil on. I read online, talk about making a slurry of it in grease. I might squirt some grease into the bottle, shake it up really good. Yeah, thicken it up some. They say it helps it not leak as bad if it's a little thicker. So I think I'll give that a shot. You guys ever put a zip tie on yours so you can hold on to it? Helps for pulling it off when your hands are greasy. Also helps for holding it on when your hands are greasy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna squirt this. It was about half empty. I'm gonna fill it up, shake a tar out of it. Make a nice thick slurry. I almost used up the whole tube of grease. Probably a little less than half and half. It certainly does feel thicker now. So we get that put on, and then top off both of those and see if I can get to Virginia. Oh, still got to get the 2 U-joints on the rear drive shaft, but I got to move the Scout a little for that to get to those. And clutch fork, which hasn't really given me any issue, but it does say I need to do that. It was either at 2 or 5,000 miles, and I'm over 5 now, so it's time regardless. Tom and Stan, here's Tom and Stan. Stan helped me put those shackles in. Show him your arm. And he has the scar to prove it. Just like the knot on my head. We sat here in the parking lot and got it all jacked up, leveled up. And they're here for their high school reunion, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Northrop class of 77.
Northrop class of 77. All right, so this one right here, just take it out, fill it up to there. But you can tell it leaks, and that's why making it thick is a little better.
we'll do this side.
Well, I've got my first, I don't think I can fix it beside the road problem. The oil was really low in my steering. Now I know why. I think I've blown a seal or something, or it's just finally wore out. I knew the steering, there was something wrong. I just couldn't figure it out until I filled her back up. Greasy glasses. So now what do? I'm 500 miles from Virginia, I think, or home in Virginia, 500-ish. I'm thinking about filling the bottom up with grease, just pumping grease into it. It appears to be leaking out of the bottom seal. Maybe the grease would hold the oil in. Hey, in an upcoming video, how to rebuild your steering box. Oh well.
So that's what I did. I pumped it full of grease, and really it slowed down the leak considerably. Or I just ran out of oil. I don't know which. But it worked. It worked fine after that. At least it'll get me to Virginia, and certainly a steering box rebuild is in my future. I put a dab of grease into the clutch fork the way you're supposed to, but be careful there. You don't want to get any on the clutch plate. And got it ready. So in the next episode, we'll be headed to Harvester Homecoming, which is an international show here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. If that interests you, or if you know other people that might be interested in that, please consider subscribing and sharing my videos. We're getting very close to the 1,000 subscriber mark, which is, well, okay, very close might be a stretch, but I do appreciate all 780 of you who have subscribed. The next episode will also be the season finale as we push our way south to Virginia. So you sure don't want to miss out on that. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and we will see you out there on the road.